Good afternoon. I want to thank everybody who joins us. My name is Hola Tumanova, and Ukraine Media Center Ukrinform continues its operation today. It's year 9 of the war, and today is day 376 of the full-scale invasion of Russian aggressor of our homeland. And I traditionally want to thank all the representatives of mass media who tell the world the truth about our fight for freedom. I want to introduce our speaker today. It's Mstislav Banik, the head of electronic services development at the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine. Good afternoon, Mr. Mstislav. Good afternoon. Mr. Mstislav, in the advent of the International Women's Day, 8th of March, we know that you hold a questioning in Diya application, and you were asking our citizens whether we should retain it as a public holiday and a day off on this day. So what was the answer of the Ukrainians? Yes, really, upon the initiative of the People's Deputies of Ukraine who work on this matter, I mean the public holidays and days off, a group of People's Deputies addressed the Ministry of Digital Transformation, who addressed us, and so we launched this questioning project as to their attitude whether to retain it as a public holiday and a day off as a heritage of Soviet Union, so to say, or should we make it a regular weekday. So today in the morning that question was over, more than 2 million people participated. 2,838,213 people voted, and the majority voted to retain it as a working day, more than to keep it as a public holiday. 700,000 people voted nay, and 100,000 people abstained. So that was the pretty modern way when the People's Deputies could find out what was the opinion of the people, and it's one of the most numerous response of the people's answers in terms of questioning through Diya. So it's the number of people which cannot be covered by any social services questioning. So this is a good way to prove the efficiency of this instrument of digital democracy. So what was the number of this questioning, and what questionings are ahead of us? If you have any understanding of this, well, it's about 10th, because the first questioning started on the 8th of February last year, and within a couple of weeks before the beginning of full-scale invasion. So it's an umpteenth question, and so I'm being tipped that this is the 11th question, and on the 10th of March there will be another question as to remaining of the Southwestern Railway, which acquired its name back in the times of Russian Empire, and respectively it should be renamed, and there will be another questioning from Ukrzaliznytsia. So I ask everybody who has not yet voted, please come and vote. We have more than 945,000 votes for renaming, for the new name of this Southwestern Railway. So please come and vote. So what are the new services that you are about to launch through Diya application shortly? Well, the most important thing that we presented recently is the existing service already, but it's pretty fresh. But those are the court decisions that we can get through Diya application. You can pick a case and you can download it to your smartphone. To have this function available on your smartphone, you gotta have the latest version, the latest update of the application. If you click on this section of the application, the court cases, well, first go to App Store or Google Play Market to update to the latest version. Well, so we launched it in cooperation with the State Enterprise State Information Systems, and everybody who ever dealt with any court cases knows how it's bureaucratically complicated. You gotta stay in line, you gotta pick proper time whenever you're off or whenever the courts are operating. So now you can do it in digital form. This week we are about to launch another function. It's the excerpt about non-conviction. So the people who dealt with this in their work, it used to take a lot of time offline, so now it can be available online in just a matter of minutes. There also will be a new service related to construction works, but we will talk about it later, about its presentation. Also shortly we will launch the cancellation for the proper owner. You can share your car through Diya. Currently you can share your technical documents, technical passport for your vehicle through Diya. You can transfer it to another owner or temporary owner, and now you can revoke that right from that other person. Also, we will present the service of replacement of the driver's license, and the main thing about this is that the driver's license will be only available through Diya, so you will not be forced to actually have this plastic card on you. And there are some other services in development that we will present a little bit later. Are there any preliminary results as the digitalization of the service of the medical examination for the military? I remember the Minister of Digital Transformation announced that project. So are there any preliminary results? Well, it's a little bit too early to tell about some solid results, but in cooperation with the Ministry of Defense and in cooperation with the civil organizations, we work quite actively, and there are some ideas on how to change this project, because in one hand it will be more digitalized. We're not talking about the service through Diya because, well, it's pretty clear about medical examination, but at certain level there will be electronic document turnover between the medical committees and military hospitals and military units, and there will be implementation of the digital queue. So under the hood we have a number of processes that are being changed and transformed in a way, and us, not only as the representatives of Ministry of Digitalization, but as the representatives of the working team who are interested in improvement of this process, there will be some progress that we will be ready to present to the people. Dear colleagues, if you have any questions, please go ahead. Mr. Mstislav, Oksana Polishuk, Ukrinform. In Mr. Mstislav, in your recent interview, said that voting in Diya is the unique element of digital progress. So what is unique case in the world? So how does this all bring us closer to electronic elections, electronic governance? Well, I'll tell you step by step what we're having at this moment. We had already 11 questionings in Diya, and every time we observe that more and more people take part in this voting, and now we see that there is confidence in people, that they see that they influence certain processes. So we started from some basic questions, and we paid a lot of attention to the stamps, the mail stamps and decommunization, And what this question about 8th of March shows us, that this is the instrument of electronic democracy that influences the legislative process, and this is a very important signal both to the citizens and to parliamentaries. So people see that they can vote and they can influence something. And about the unique experience, I'll make a small remark. We communicate a lot with our foreign colleagues, and in other countries there is no similar instrument, not like Diya in general, but instrument that could fulfill its functions, like to ask people what they want, to offer them some options. And regarding the connection between questions in Diya and future elections, future voting of this big scale, technically, questioning in Diya have nothing. Questionings in Diya have nothing to do with elections. It's just simple arithmetics. There is a unique user, and their vote is being counted. And in terms of elections, the election component is much bigger scale, and there is a lot more responsibility. We study international experience, and I have to remind you that it's not the Ministry of Digital Transformation but the Parliament who have to change the process. Of course, using the world's best experience, we understand what is the direction we have to move in, and it's way more important than to change the legislation or initiative of Central Elections Committee is the attitude of people, because no matter how well protected is the process of electronic elections, first of all, people have to trust in it, and to a certain extent this voting through Diya helps people believe that their vote matters, that everything is transparent. But electronic elections is a very responsible process, and it's quite complex and complicated. Mr. Mstislav, I'm sure you can see what are the services mostly used in Diya application by Ukrainians, and probably you discuss those results inside of your team. So what are the top three services that are most attractive for Ukrainians? Well, not talking about the documents. Well, obviously documents are the most widespread service. But unfortunately, why I'm saying unfortunately, because it's the instrument used mostly by internal displaced persons, and it's the phenomena which was caused by the war in our country. People had to leave their homes to become internally displaced persons. So this is the most demanded service. Another one is the military bonds, and we gathered about 400 million hryvnia at the expense of selling military bonds. And another service which keeps working so far is the light bulb exchange, is one of the mostly demanded services in Ukraine. Mr. Mstislav, thank you for this information, for finding time to join our broadcast. Dear colleagues, I'm reminding you, joining us was Mstislav Banik, Head of Electronic Services Development at the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine. Our next briefing is in just 15 minutes. Joining us will be Yuri Ignat, Speaker of the Air Force Command of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and we will talk about our air defense forces. Bear with us, trust in our armed forces, and glory to Ukraine.